The CSGO Major is just around the corner, and to be completely honest, I am excited as hell. This time around, we're going to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil to figure out who is the best Counter-Strike team in the world. In 2020, we were supposed to be in Rio, but due to COVID, that major got cancelled, which is now why we are returning into Rio de Janeiro. We're giving the Brazilian community, we're giving Brazilian Counter-Strike, and we're giving ourselves, I guess, what should be a pleasant experience. There's no doubt that when it comes to Counter-Strike, Brazil has a rich history in CSGO Majors. They have a rich history in terms of their community. It's a very supporting, very loud, and very passionate place to play Counter-Strike. I'm excited, and I am 100% sure, that you guys will be excited as well, because when the major kicks off, nothing else will matter. For 2 weeks, 24 teams will battle it out to compete for the trophy, to compete for the legacy, and to compete for the lion's share of $1 million. Now in this video, I will explain you guys what the major is, the format, what the teams are fighting for, how it's gonna work, and what kind of, I guess, aspects there is to playing a major. You maybe never heard about it, but the stakers, the players, they earn quite a lot. Are you also super tired of people trying to scam you all the time whenever you're trying to sell or buy a new knife? Then I'd advise you to head over to Skin Baron. Skin Baron is a legit German registered company, a marketplace that on average has skins for sale 30% cheaper than on the Steam market. I use Skin Baron, and I do it because I don't want to worry about people scamming me. To hell with scammers. So let's get to it. What is a CSGO Major and why should you care? Well, first and foremost, you should care because a CSGO Major is the ultimate tournament you can play as a Counter-Strike player and you can represent your team at. The majors happens twice a year, usually. Now we had the time during COVID, as I explained in the intro, Rio de Janeiro was cancelled and we had a year with no majors whatsoever. A little bit of a shame, but the rest of the world took a break as well, so I guess it was only fair that we joined in on that one. Anyhow, 2 majors a year, so 2 world championships a year is being played out, and the major is the most prestigious tournament you can win. There's zero doubt about it. You got the IEM Colognes, the IEM Katowice, you got the Blast Royal Arena, the World Finals, etc. Those are big tournaments, but winning majors, that's what everyone should care about, and that's why you should care as well. The reason being, the teams, they have never been more motivated. They are never gonna show any better Counter-Strike than they will at the major. This is the tournament where they're putting in all their efforts, all the practice times, they're all boot camping to make sure that when they turn up in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, they will play Counter-Strike at the absolute highest level. I'm excited, and you should be too. We have to go back to 2013, which was the year we had the very first CSGO Major. DreamHack Winter was the first one, a major I personally played as a player. Didn't go too well.
I know you probably don't want to do this interview right now because you just got knocked out of your group. But
experiencing what could be, and I guess what turned out to be the biggest tournament of the year, and being part of that for the first time was a great experience for a young Jacob who were at the time 16 or 17 years of age. No one back then knew how big the major circuit would grow. Turned out to be, you know, the biggest of the biggest tournament. I always told you how much it means to the players. The lion's share of $1 million in the prize pool, the sticker money, which is something we're going to talk about later as well. There's so many different aspects that make the majors big time, the tournament that you want to win. Now, with Rio de Janeiro, we're gonna turn a milestone, I would say. 20 majors in total means that we're building up a legacy as well, which means that there's been 20 winners of the majors as well. So why don't we dive into a bit of the history when it comes to who's won majors, how did they do it, and why are they part of the Counter-Strike legacy for the rest of the livelihood. The very first winner of the major in 2013 at DreamHack was Fnatic, an iconic moment for a young Fnatic squad that back then no one really had them as the favorites to win the major, but they did what back then was unthinkable, to beat NIP in the major final. And you all remember what happened on that stage in Sweden, home soil. Devil Walk, he dropped his bands, he made a show out of it, and he celebrated winning the major. Now the second one is a major that you're not gonna forget either. Virtus Pro winning at home soil in Katowice. The first time we saw a CSGO tournament with an enormous crowd. I believe there was roughly 10 to 12,000 people inside the Spodek Arena in Katowice when VP destroyed everyone throughout that tournament. I was part of that tournament as well as a player. Again, exited the group stage. I was so close. 2 rounds from qualifying into the playoff. Didn't have the chance, I guess. Didn't get the ability to play inside the arena, but I was there as a crowd. I saw the final, and VP, my God, was that a sick tournament. Winning the major like they did, you know, with the crowd behind them back in 2014, before we knew how big Counter-Strike would be in the future, that is a moment I will never, ever forget. Back then, there was no doubt that NIP were the best team to play Counter-Strike, but they had to wait until the 3rd major before they were able to win. LDLC, the French squad, they also won a major, and then we turned into a period where Fnatic were dominating Counter-Strike. They won a couple of majors more, and yeah, it goes back and forth. I want to fast forward a little bit to 2017, the E-League Atlanta major. Astralis, out of nowhere, coming in, winning the major. They almost exited the group stage, and I know firsthand because I played the elimination game against them. I was on Team Liquid back then. We played Astralis. Had we beaten Astralis in that game, they would have gone out of the group stage. We would have went to the playoff. Unfortunately, I guess good thing for Astralis, they beat me, they beat Team Liquid, and they exited us from the group stage, and they turned into the playoff team and ended up winning what was an iconic final against VP. We all remember the moment, 14-14 on Train, the outside rush with the Tech-9s coming in from Glaive. It was just a magical game. Now what happened is that the following years afterwards, we had a couple of upset majors. You had Cloud9 winning the Boston major, a major that I guess no one will ever forget. The first time an NA team were able to win a major, and again on home soil with the Boston crowd going absolutely bananas. That final on Inferno, you remember Stewie 2K standing behind the bomb site with the AWP time and time again, shutting down for FaZe on Inferno. FaZe that probably felt they threw that final game. They did. That was an amazing major as well. You had the Gambit major, the surprise in Krakow, I believe. No one saw Gambit win that major. Out of nowhere they came in. And then we entered what was the most dominant period any Counter-Strike team has ever had. Astralis winning 3 majors in a row. They dominated international Counter-Strike. The best team to ever succeed in Counter-Strike. The best team to ever play Counter-Strike. Everything was working out. Dupree, Magix, Supnix, Glaive involved in that one. And then of course the one we're missing is Device, a player that right now is rumored to come back perhaps playing. I would love to see it so he can perhaps win his 5th major. Who knows? But back then, Astralis was dominating everything and everyone. It was truly a special moment to be part of. COVID unfortunately hit us, and that also ended the streak for Astralis winning their majors. What should have been the Rio Major in 2020 got cancelled, and we had to wait all the way to Stockholm in late 21 before we had the next major. That also was a historic moment because that was the first time the best player in the world, called Simple, ended up winning a major. So he's now had it all. He's done it all. He's the best player in the world. He's been the best player in the world for a couple of years. He's won everything he can win. The World Finals at Blast, the Global Finals. He's won majors. He's won Katowice. He's won Cologne. It feels like Simple has done everything at this point, right? And he finally got that one thing he needed, which was the major trophy. Moving on, fast forward, he had the chance of getting another one in Belgium. The most recent major we had. Simple played against FaZe, but he couldn't beat him. FaZe ended up winning that major. Kerrigan finally got his major. The most, I would say, legendary in-game leader we had around. A player that played 1.6, a player that's played Counter-Strike for plus 15 years. Crowned it all by winning the major with FaZe Clan in Antwerp in Belgium. So the last 2 majors really had a great history in terms of the best player of all time, Simple finally winning his major, the best in-game leader of all time finally getting his major. I guess it begs the question, who'll win the major at Rio and why should you care? This section of the video, I just quickly want to touch on the format because it's quite confusing for many. We use a special format at the majors called the Swiss group stage. So basically the major is divided into 3 different stages. You have the challenger stage, you have the legend stage, and you have the playoff stage. Now in the first stage, the challenger stage, you have 16 teams competing, Out of those 16 teams, 8 will progress into what is the legend stage. In the legend stage, 8 already qualified teams are waiting for them, which means it's going to be another group stage of 16 teams. The way it works in the challenger and in the legend stage when it comes to the group stage is this so-called Swiss format. What it basically means, I'm going to try to dumb it down just a little bit so everyone can understand. What it basically means is that if you win 3 games, you progress. If you lose 3 games, you will be out of the major. It's that simple. It takes 3 Ws to progress, 3 Ws to be eliminated from the major. Now, the rule of the Swiss format is that you can only play against a team with the same score as your own. So in the beginning, everyone is 0-0. 0 wins, 0 losses. Let's say after round 1, then Navi, they're not part of the Challenger stage. 0-0 Nation is winning their first game. Greyhound is winning their first game. Both of them are now 1-0, which means that they can now match up. A team that is 1-0 cannot match a team that is 0-1. What that means is that as you progress, you will have a team that goes through as a 3-0 team, you will have a team that goes through as a 3-1 team, and you'll have a couple of teams that go through as 3-2 teams. It also means on the other side that you'll have teams who are going to lose 3 games in a row and they'll be 0-3. You'll have teams that are going to go 1-3, and you'll have teams that are going 2-3. It's very simple in its essence. Win 3, you're through. Lose 3, you're out. But it can get quite confusing in terms of who's matching up against who, what are the seedings like, etc., etc. It is what it is. It's great. Once we figure out who the 8 teams from the Challenger states are, as said, they will join the Legend states. Same thing again, same group stage, 16 teams competing for 8 spots in the playoff. Now, once we head into the playoff, the system changed a little bit. It'll no longer be a group stage format, it will be a single elimination bracket. That means that there's no room for mistakes. You don't have a second chance. You can't lose a game and still progress. No. You go into quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. All games are played in the playoff best of 3. Simple as it is. You win your quarterfinal, you progress to the semifinal, you lose your quarterfinal, and you fly home. Why? Unlucky. So when we head into the playoff, it's going to be highly competitive, and that's only where the best of the best teams will be left, which is why I think that if you're one of those guys who are not following Counter-Strike on a day-to-day basis, which is okay, not all of us, have 16 hours a day to watch Counter-Strike like me wearing glasses being a freaking nerd, but if you were interested to watch some of the major, I would definitely schedule so you can watch the playoff, which starts Tuesday the 10th of November. So those 4 days with quarterfinals on a Thursday, 2 quarterfinals on a Friday, 2 semifinals on Saturday, and then the grand final of the major Sunday, where there's also a pretty cool show match going on between 2 of the legendary teams that's played during the major. I would definitely check that out if I were you. Another little fun fact which I teased about earlier in this video was the stickers and the sticker money that the players and teams are earning. Many of you guys have probably seen it inside Counter-Strike. If you qualify for a major, as a player you get autograph stickers, and as a team you get your logo in the game for the rest of its entirety. I have 2 stickers in the game. I've played 6 majors in total, but the stickers were only introduced back in 2015, I believe. So the first couple of majors I played, I didn't get a sticker from. Anyhow, if you qualify for the major, you will, as a player, have achieved to be in the game that you love for the rest of its livelihood, which I think is super cool. It's something that I'm still very proud of. Now, there's also a financial incentive for these players to do well and qualify for the major. Back when I was playing, and this is probably exclusive information you haven't heard for, I remember earning around $10,000 to $12,000 in sticker prize money for representing, I believe that was Copenhagen Wolves, and representing also Team Liquid. Also had a year with Team Dignitas. We didn't earn that much because we weren't such a popular team back then. Nowadays though, and this is just a ballpark range of numbers. If you're a player on a top team that makes it to the playoff, you can easily earn $100,000 on the stickers. Easily. You also get a cut of the team stickers. So the teams, the organizations, let's take Navi as an example, you also get a cut from the team stickers for qualifying Navi into the major. So if you're a player, not only can you win the lion's share of $1 million by winning the major, you also earn big bucks in terms of the sticker. So just know that whenever you're buying a sticker in the game, whenever you're putting on one of the stickers on your gun, you're also supporting the player financially speaking, which I think is super cool. But don't be mistaken, the money involved in that, it's great. That does indeed beg the question, who's gonna win the major in Rio, right? One thing I can tell you, it won't be G2 because they didn't qualify. Another surprise for some who may not follow Counter-Strike on a day-to-day basis, Astralis. Astralis for the first time ever didn't qualify, right? That's a bit of a disaster for Danish Counter-Strike. Hurts the heart a little bit, but it is what it is. If you're not good enough, you're not going to be part of what is the biggest tournament of the year. Simple as that. G2, They are good enough, but they failed to qualify. They played miserable Counter-Strike, and Nico, Monacy, Honda for that matter as well. They'll all miss out on the major, and I feel a little bit sorry about that. But then again, if you can't qualify, I guess you don't deserve to be there. Now, I will do another video where we're going to talk about the teams at the major. Who are the underdogs? Who are the teams we can expect something from? And who are the favorites to win the entire thing? So if you enjoyed this video, I would highly appreciate if you leave a comment below and maybe chime in with a team that you would like me to focus on in the next video. Who do you think is a great underdog to talk about? Who do you think is one of the best favorites of the tournament? And in general, are there some players that you have more interest in than others? I hope you enjoyed this little historic perspective on what a major is, what it's all about. And yeah, I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to get it started. It's gonna be one hell of a major in such a passionate place like Brazil. Rio de Janeiro 2022, the IEM Major. It's gonna be great.